prayer today? Prayer leader? Let's not start unless everyone will open their cameras, or at least half in this meeting will open their cams. I can now see Ira, Miles, Marinel, Gab. How about the others? Jade. Jade, can you tell me who can you see in the meeting? Can you call the names of those people whose cameras are on? I
Sure, hinay kang
Can you
internet
call
na
the
ko di.
names of those people with their cameras off?
Hinay kang internet na ko, che. Kamusta na nang nag-off, che?
Ay. How about Angel? Angel, can you tell me who are these classmates who are not using their cameras? Please mention their names. Okay, magalit
Nakura
kayo.
ba akong makita, sir, sa Meet My Lang face kay off?
Okay, so I think we do have the same problem with our internet connection right now. I think it's too hinay. So yeah, let's start now our prayer. Can we have it, the prayer now, prayer leader?
Start the chair.
Yes.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord and the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, thank you for all the blessings you have showered upon us, or for all the sins we have committed against you, and please guide us today. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Now in today's session, we will be having our new lesson, which we will be using in our research, and whatever you will be learning in this one, I hope you can start working on this with your research. Okay, so please tell me if my presentation is visible to this meeting now. Can you now see my presentation?
Yes, true.
May I hear an answer? Okay, thank you so much for responding. Now, once again, good afternoon, everyone. Before I will be presenting to you this lesson that we will be using in our research, may I ask anyone who can refresh or who can recap what was our lesson all about last meeting? What was it all about, or what did we do? What were the tasks that we have accomplished? Anyone who can recall? Yes, anyone who can recall. Sophia, do you know? Or can you still remember our lesson last meeting?
So I think our lesson
Yes.
was about the story The Fisherman.
Okay, the story, the fisherman. How about Angel? What can you remember? What was our lesson last meeting?
We talk
There
about
we go.
the story, The Fisherman.
Okay, so we have tackled about this literary piece, a poem written by. Can you still remember the author? Who was that Filipino author who wrote The Fisherman? Yes, Marinel. Can you remember the author? Okay, I think Miles wants to answer. Miles, do you know the answer? Who is the author of that poem?
Si Edith L. Tiempo, sure.
Very good. So we're done discussing the poem written by Edith El Tiempo entitled as The Fisherman. Now, I hope we are all ready and we are all excited to learn something new. So let me begin this new lesson with a question again. I know that this might be too awkward, or you may be hearing this awkwardly, but have you seen an appendix? Yes, have you seen an appendix? Okay, one from the other section said, sure, I don't have any idea how that looks, because I think that is that certain thing inside our abdomen that is removed, because, or that should be removed because that is harmful. Well, again, this is English class, so you might be thinking the same with that student I just had a while ago. So what do you think is an appendix? Have you seen one? You may go to Google and then Yeah, check it out. What is an appendix? Aside from that thing inside our stomach, what is an appendix? Have you seen one? If you kindly send your answers here in the public chat, whether it's a yes or no, send it now. Five, four, three, two, one. Have you
I
seen an
sure
appendix?
I think
Yes.
close public chat here.
Ay, wow. Sorry, sorry. Someone disabled the public chat or someone closed it. Oh, okay. I think it's a good strat also. But sometimes I should close also the public chat so that you will really be forced to use your microphones. But I think that's too late. It's already fourth quarter. Everyone is muted. How will I enable the public chat? I am using my iPod. I think I don't have the tool to bring it back or to turn it on. So, you will really be forced to open your cameras, okay? Sige. So, have you seen an appendix? May I hear your answers? Have you seen one? Have you seen
Sure.
an appendix? Really? You have seen one? Okay, again. So, I hope you're not thinking the same way with that previous student I had, di ba? She was referring to, yeah, he or she was referring to that thing inside our abdomen. But remember, this is English class. So in today's session, we will be learning what is an appendix. We will be recognizing what is that. We may have stumbled on upon it for like a number of times already, but this is the time na dapat na jud you should know what is an appendix. So we have here the objectives. You should be able to first recall the purpose of appendices in an academic paper. Second, comprehend or understand the importance of appendices for an organized written work and apply in your research paper the rules in using appendices. So let's get started. What is an appendices? Again, that is not the thing I am kanang that is not that certain part or thing inside our abdomen that is removed because it's harmful. Yes?
Nawala ang presentation, sir.
Ay, sorry. Thank you, Marino. Sorry. Wait lang ha. I'm still struggling with this device. By the way, I have already my replaced headset, but mag-take pag time for me to set this up. So expect tomorrow in our next session, I will no longer be struggling with my presentation because I'll be back on my usual device na, which is my computer. Please wait. Please tell me if my presentation is back na. Can you now see it, class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so going back
Yes,
again,
sir.
what is an appendix? As I have said, I am not referring to the thing that is inside our stomach or our abdomen that is suggested to be removed because it's harmful. Remember, this is English class. And when we say appendix, it is a supplementary material that is considered not really necessary or not required to be part in the text or in the paragraph, but which may be helpful or which may serve another purpose, which is to give more comprehensive understanding of the text that you are writing. Now, if you will be putting these information that is going to be your appendix in your original text, the text will become too cumbersome. Or meaning to say, madaot ang organization sa paper or sa text. So that is why we have this appendix. We have that in order for us to separate the not so necessary or not required information, but this information marked as supplementary materials may help readers to have a more comprehensive understanding of your topic. So here is an example. As you can see, we have here a paragraph with a content on the list of states in order of when they joined the United States. Meaning to say, we have here the list of states belonging to United States. So this is an appendix. So let's say the text or the book is talking about United States, let's say geography, and the topic is about United States. Now, you want to discuss or you have mentioned the list of states inside United States. Now, if you will be putting all the states, all the states and add that in the text, maguba ang narration or maguba ang like organization sa text. So we have or we are given the choice. We are given the gift of appendices for us to have a separate page on the not so necessary materials. Meaning to say, if we say not so necessary, that means to say again, if we are to remove it and not add that and not to add that in our paper, still the paper will make sense. I will be giving more examples later so you will understand why is this called not so necessary but still has a purpose. So an appendix contains information that is not required again to understand the main point or argument of the essay, but it is helpful in understanding the topic more. Here, this is another example. We have here the header, Appendix A, and then the list of counties in this specific country with 130 acres of wetlands. Now, let's say the essay discusses about wetlands, and then you have mentioned there this country, Wisconsin, and then if you will be enumerating the list of countries, all 72 countries, that will disrupt the whole narration or the whole essay. Kumbaga, it will become too cumbersome. Taas na kayo siya, too wordy, and it is not anymore organized. So, you can cut the list of or all the countries and then paste that in your appendices. Now, if you will be removing the list of these countries, I mean the names of the states or whatever, still the paper will make sense with or without the appendix. I mean the appendix or the appendices. So that's the second example. Now, in doing your research paper, it is a must to make sure that your paper is complete. Diba? So one student asked, so Teacher Leia, once we will be having na our research, we have the choice whether to add materials or not. In presenting a research, our goal is to make sure that all the information is complete. So you don't really have the choice. Diba? Or maybe in the long run, once you will have na your paper, it depends on the scope of your research. But for this task, which is research proposal, you have to make sure na you have all the necessary materials completely provided. So all information, including letters, di ba? Before you will conduct your research, you have to provide a letter. A letter for you to ask permission from the school principal, from, let's say, the grade level coordinator, the advisors, and so on. So you need to keep a copy on that. And you can have that as your supplementary material. Next, if you have your diagrams, let's say you have your diagrams, you have your raw data. So if you have gathered your results na, you have your data, you have the results, you can have that as a supplementary material. Next, let's say maps. If you have maps with you, if you have used that in your research, you can also have that as a supplementary material. Now, the key point to remember here is that in writing an appendix, the information is non-essential because if it were removed, still the paper can stand on its own. Meaning to say the paper would still be understandable. Now, when do we include appendices? First, when the incorporation of the material in the body of the work would make it poorly structured. So this is what I am referring to a while ago. Pag poorly structured na kayo siya, if you are to put all these information and it will disrupt the narration or like the organization of the paragraph, you have to consider that into you have to put that into a separate page, and that is appendix. Okay, second, to ensure inclusion of helpful supporting or essential material without disorganizing the material. Now, always remember this. We provide appendix for those people who would like to check, like i-recheck nila. Number one is the raw data. Let's say you have mentioned in your paper, you have there your conclusions. Let's say the statement is, therefore, or the conclusion, I to conclude, there is a total of 1,700,500, so on. So that is the number that you have provided. So for those people who are very meticulous, like they will really check if that's valid or that's correct, they can go to the appendices section and then check the raw data and they can have their own calculation. So that is one of the very reason why we provide appendices, supplementary material for those people who might find it um I mean supplementary material not really necessary, but it has a purpose to guide or to help those who are in need of that material. Okay? Okay? Like for the normal readers, dili na sila mag-read sa appendices. They will not be rechecking that. But let's say you will be having naman your presentation, there will be panelists who are really meticulous. Like they will really check it. So they can go to the appendices part and then recheck it. So here are the general points to consider. It is usually a good practice to include your raw data. I think I mentioned that raw data is very important. This is if you have already if you have really conducted the research. But since you are only tasked to create a proposal, so I will not be expecting a raw data because you will have no data to gather, man. Yeah, laying it out in a clear format so the reader can recheck the results. That's it. Second, any tables and figures included in the appendix should be numbered as a separate sequence from the main paper. Third, now take note of this. If there are more than three appendices, so let's say you have maps, you have questionnaires, you have letters, all of these are supplementary materials that can really prove nga, yes, we really conducted our research. In fact, we have here our like evidences or support materials. You have there documentary photos, you have maps, you have letters, diba? More than three. Well, if you have three or more appendices, consider listing them on a separate page at the beginning of your paper. Again, separate page. If there are less than three, you can have that together with a table of contents. But if there are more than three, have that on a separate page. Okay? Next, the appendix can be a good place to put maps, photographs, diagrams, and other non-textual elements. But always remember this, when you put additional information, when you give further comprehensive understanding to what you are explaining in your paper, do not abuse it. The very purpose of having an appendix is to give supplementary materials. And it doesn't mean that since supplementary material man siya, you will be copying everything from Google. That is a no-no. Even if its purpose is to give more details, you have to make sure yapon that the information that you will be putting in there is comprehensive, briefly written, concisely written. If you have a very long and complex appendix, it is a good idea to chunk them into pieces or kumbaga break it down into separate appendices. That's it. And yeah, do not include vague or irrelevant information in an appendix because it will defeat the very purpose of having an appendix. We have appendices to provide more information. And if mag-give ka vague, not really clear or confusing infos, then that is not an appendices. Okay? So now let's talk about the most important part of this lesson, format. Okay, how to um use appendices in our research paper. This is very simple lang. First, appendices may precede or follow the reference list. Diba? We have that, the last part, list of references. So appendices can be placed before or after. Okay? Before or after na siya. Next, each appendix begins on a new page. Let's say you have three appendices. You have letter, you have map, you have questionnaire. What I'm referring to as questionnaire is the questionnaire that you will be using in floating your questions. I mean, the questionnaire that you will be using in um the questionnaire that you will be using in the, let's say, interviewing your respondents. That one kana siyang questionnaire, or the questions that you will be giving to the respondents for them to answer. So you have three: maps, letters, and questionnaire. You cannot put them in one page together like the collage. That is a no-no. In doing or in having appendices in your research paper, have them in separate pages. One page for the letter, one page for the map, and then another page for the questionnaire. Are we clear with that? Are we clear with that, class? Are we still following? Okay, let's continue. We're almost done. Now, the heading should be appendix and followed by a letter or number. So as you can see here, let's go back to that part. Okay, as you can see in these two examples, the attached supplementary the supplementary materials are headed by this title, Appendix A, and then Appendix A, Appendix B, and so on and so forth. Now, if you have one appendix, you can put appendix, and but then if you have more than one, you will be using either numbers or letters. To have that in order, it can be Appendix A, Appendix B, Appendix C, or numbers, Appendix 1, Appendix 2, Appendix 3, and so on and so forth. And then, yeah, appendices must be listed in the table of contents. But again, the rule says if there are more than three, have them in a separate page. And then the page numbers of the appendix will continue on the numbering from the last page of the text. Padayon lang siya. Okay? From the last page of the text. Now, any questions or clarifications before we will have our short quiz? Any questions or clarifications? Yes? If you don't have any questions, you must respond to. Any
None,
questions or clarifications? I can't hear any answer.
none, sure.
Yes? So
None,
only Miles. How about the others? Any questions or clarifications? Okay, let's have it this way. Click the raise hand button if you don't have any questions. Okay, good. So, well, I will be publishing the quiz for appendices. Please review your notes. I will be announcing once the quiz is accessible to everyone. Okay? Please start reviewing now. You may now take the quiz. Kindly check the lid. It's now accessible. Thank you.
Di na ko ma-open, sir. Walay kuan kanang answer button.
March 18 to ang naka-deadline siya.
Dili ma-access ang quiz, chair.
Kindly refresh.
Chair, excuse me, Chair. Naka-absent ko itong Friday, Chair, ba kay nga, nga, nagbalik ka nang nag-adto bito sa igagaw, Chair. Tapos timing English time, pwede mag-answer atong kuan siya atong last nga module.
For all your missed tests and for all the missed quizzes, especially mga lesson short quizzes lang, I will be reopening the portals before the fourth quarter exam. Before the
Ah, okay.
exam week, I'm reopening that. Like 1 week, all portals will be open.
Okay, Chair. Thank you, okay, Chair.
You're welcome.
Chair.
Isa and Noble, you will have your test today.
Okay,
Right
Chair.
after
Thank you,
class. Do
Chair.
not leave the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
To those who are done in taking the quiz, you may now leave the meeting. Again, to those